All right, geometry crew. We are doing section 11.7, areas and volumes of similar figures. In this section, do you remember in chapter 10 when I said we were going to do a section about areas and volumes of similar solids? Because at the current time, we were doing perimeter and areas of similar solids. And I said it's almost like a three-tiered building or a three-leveled building where your perimeter is on the bottom level and then your area is like everything is squared. It's on the second level. All right? Well, now we're doing volume, which is going to be the third level. So everything is cubed. Make sure you look at my notes, all right, the picture that I post and everything else, and make sure you read through the section. But I'm going to do the first two problems on page 745 for you, and especially the second problem. That's going to be a good problem to do. It's going to show you how you move from level to level of the building, okay? So problem number one, they give you 3 cones. All right, so you got this first cone, and they tell you, all right, the height is 30, and this distance, the diameter down here, all right, is 20. And then they give you a slightly bigger cone, all right, and they tell you that the height is 35, and the diameter is 25. And then they give you an even bigger cone, and they tell you that the height is 45 and your diameter is 30. And they're asking us which one of these 3 cones, all right, is similar. Which 2 out of these 3 cones are similar? We need to find the scale factors, okay? And all you need to do, just compare the 2 numbers. So we have in number 1, we have 30 over 20, which reduces to 3/2. And then we move on over here, we have 35 over 25, all right? And 35 over 25 is going to be 7 over 5. And then over here we have 45 over 30. And this reduces to 3/2. So you can see the first and the third cones have exactly the same scale factor of 3/2, or it could be 2/3, okay? But they do have the same scale factor, so the answer would be cone 1 and cone 3 are the 2 similar, and the scale factor would be 3/2 or 2/3, all right? Now, let's do number 2. Number 2 is where we need to start doing some work, all right? And they say the volumes of 2 similar containers are 115 inches cubed and 67 inches cubed. So obviously, this is the smaller, all right, container, and this one up here would be the larger container, okay? And then they tell you that the surface area, and this is volume here, all right, the surface area of the smaller container is 108 inches squared, okay? They want to know what the surface area of the larger container is. But notice, we are in the third level of our building right here. This is the third level. We're in the cubed level. This is the squared level. And remember, perimeter is the single level, like the first level. So what we need to do here, we need to take our volumes and we need to take the square root of those volumes. All right? So if we do the square root of 115, we get, I'm sorry, we don't do the square root, we do the cubed root. Sorry about that. So when you do cubed root, you push the math button, and you come down here, number 4 is the cubed root of 115. The reason we do the cubed root is because we have to get this number, which is the first level of our solid figure. That's the perimeter level. And then we need to take the cubed root of 67. So once again, math, go down to number 4, cubed root of 67, enter. I got 4.1. All right, but once again, we're trying to compare surface area. We need to know surface area. But the reason we took the cubed root, we got that down to the first level. Now we need to jump these numbers up to the second level by squaring them. So we have to square these numbers so that we can move over and compare our proportion to the second level. All right? And now remember, this is your larger, this is your smaller. So I'm going to take 4.9 squared. I get 24.01. Remember, that is the larger figure. And then I'm going to take 4.1 squared, or 4.1 and square it. I get 16.81. Now I set up my proportion, okay? So we have 24.01 over 16.81. These numbers, because I squared after I took the cubed root, I'm now in the second level. I'm in the same level as surface area. So I can finally compare those numbers. All right, I set up my proportion, and you just cross multiply. So I have 16.81x is equal to 24.01 times 108. I'm cross multiplying here. So I get 2593.08. And then our last step, we just divide both sides. So I take 2593.08. I divide that by 16.81. I get 154, 155. All right. So there's your answer. So that's how you do those problems. Just make sure whenever you're setting up your proportion that you're in the same level that they're asking you to compare to. So because problem number 2, they gave us the volumes and they wanted surface area, we had to cube root the volumes to get down to the first level and then square them to get back up to the second level. So when you're moving down levels, when you're going from 3 to 2 or 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, you're taking square roots. When you're moving from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, you have to either square it or cube it to get to volume. All right? Hopefully this helps. Hopefully everybody's staying healthy.